This is the formation used by the undefeated pro player Johnny in the E-Champions League. Hello everyone and welcome to yet another video on the FC Analyst channel. Today the formation that I am about to discuss with you is the 4-4-1-1 formation, which like I mentioned was used by the pro player Johnny, who by the way is undefeated in the E-Champions League. So why are we using the 4-4-1-1 formation, you may ask? Well, because in the previous video I mentioned the 3-5-2 formation, which is kind of a defensive formation in many ways, but the 4-4-1 formation, it has many aspects of the 4-4-2 formation, but it also has many unique aspects of its own, which come mainly from the CF. The CF, which acts as an additional player in the defense because he will come back and play as a third centre mid and provide the defensive and playmaking strength in the midfield, and also in the attack he will provide additional support to the striker, and in the third half he will also act as a third striker. Along with that, he will provide us with many passing triangles which will help us make those creative plays through the wings, through the mid, and basically feed our striker with some creative passes. While in the 4-4-2 we had a second striker up front, this formation, rather than a striker, it has a CF, which provides us a different unique aspect to the game, which many players are not familiar with, so it can provide you with a competitive advantage as well. In this formation, our RM must be tall because you wanna use the height for aerial knockdowns and shots from the corner. Both our wingers need to be rapid because when we make those runs towards our opponent's half, we need them to get away. Also, when we do the straight step overs, we need them to get away from the defender and not get chased by the defender. And like we know that this game is a lot about play styles, we need players with intercept plus in the center mid, along with long ball plus play styles, and incisive plus is also very good. Now before I tell you about the tactics for this formation, I want you to remember that simply copy pasting the tactics will not make you a better player instantly. If you skip to this part, I suggest you watch the whole video from the start because I explained some very vital things about this formation. And also watch till the very end because the instructions are very key. And I will be providing you with some important details as well. Now our defensive style is going to be balanced. Like you guys know, I'm not a big fan of press after possession loss or pressure on heavy touch because while these styles may be effective in certain situations, for example if you don't win the ball right after you lose the possession, it will leave some gaps in your play and that will leave gaps in your defense which will be exploited by a good player. So balanced is what I suggest for 99% of the players. Our defensive width is going to be 46. Well, 46 because we want it to be tough for your opponent to pass the ball through the middle of the field. So when the opponent tries to make those passes through your midfield, he will either run into your players or give the ball away through an interception. Our depth is going to be 67. Well, 67 because like you guys know, I am a fan of a high defensive line. What it does is that it gives very little play area to your opponent, because if we sit deeper, then your opponent will have more area to pass the ball around, make more chances, make more plays and so on. So a higher defensive line will suffocate them, will make them lose the ball quicker. Now our build-up play, I suggest balance. Something like fast build-up could also be used in bad gameplay, but if the gameplay is good, then balanced is what I suggest for almost everyone. Slow build-up, well, I'm not a big fan for this formation, so keep it at balance. Or chance creation, well, I'll keep it at direct passing as always. Balance is also another good one, but direct passing is what feeds into the meta of this game, so keep it at direct passing. Our offensive width is also going to be 46. Well, why do we have the width at 46? This is because, like I mentioned, the meta is to pass the ball through the middle of the field, because that's where you make those through balls, that's where you make those passes into your wingers. So a narrow attack is beneficial. Obviously we will use the width from the LM and RM, but the center is where it's at while you're attacking. Players in the box, either keep it at 5 or I would suggest 4 for this formation because you don't want everyone to simply rush into your opponent's box. We want some players to make those creative passes. Corners, keep it at 2. Free kicks, keep it at 2. Now the instructions, which are as important as the custom tactics. Our striker is going to be balanced because we want him to stay in his position. Our center forward, we will keep him at stay central, and everything else we will keep it at default. Our LM, we want him at comeback on defense as well as get into the box for crosses, and our RM will be the same, comeback on defense and get into the box for crosses. And like I mentioned, our RM needs to be a tall player because when we make those crosses from the left towards the right, we can sit the ball down, make a pass or make a direct shoot towards the goal, and that is the meta in this game. Our right center mid will be stay back while attacking and cover center, and it will be the same for our LCM as well. For our left back, everything remains balanced, but the run type is going to be overlap. Lastly, our right back will be simply stay back while attacking, rest will stay default. Now transitioning from the 4-4-2, from the 4-2-2, 4-2-3-1, 4-3-2-1 to this formation, the 4-4-1-1, could initially be challenging, but after enough practice, it does become easier, I can tell you that. I would suggest give it a few games, play a few friendlies with your friends, maybe a few competitive games, some division rivals, and after some time, I think you will get used to it and use it more effectively. Because like in the start I mentioned, it has many similarities to the 4-4-2, which happens to be the most common formation in this game. So transitioning to the 4-4-1-1 from the 4-4-2 is not that hard. Now if you like the video, definitely give it a like and hit the subscribe button because I will be making a lot more videos like this.